Let's talk about beliefs and the law of attraction. I want you to incorporate beliefs and the law of attraction into coaching. Now, you may be wondering what the law of attraction is. Hopefully you have some exposure to it. And I was fortunate recently to complete a book about the law of attraction, to write a book with my good friend, consumer health advocate Frank Mangano. And the book is called You Can Attract It. And we help people understand the law of attraction. We have a foreword by John Assaraf, who is a star of the movie The Secret. And it's all about helping people use the law of attraction to get what they want. But the law of attraction has become very popular recently, and it's going to stay that way. Now, there's nothing new about the law of attraction. By the way, the law of attraction states, the law itself, not a book or anything else, but the law of attraction itself states that what you put out there, you're going to get back. So you start thinking negatively, you're going to get that back. You start putting out negative vibes, so to speak, and that's what you're going to get back. And you start believing in yourself, putting out their positive energy, and so forth, you're going to get that back. But it also states that when you get it back, whether it's positive or negative, it's going to be a lot more powerful. So the idea is that you want to use the law of attraction in a way that really works. So for you personally, you can use it to attract clients. And the way you do that is just by talking positively, by waking up and believing that's going to happen. The universe gets the signal. So whereas many things I've talked about are not metaphysical, this is. The universe gets the signal that you want clients. You put it out there, and you get clients. My web designer, well, I use several web designers, but one of them, she says that when she needs clients or wants clients, she puts that out to the universe, and she gets clients. Sometimes she puts it out a little too strongly, or it comes back so powerfully that she gets more clients than she can handle. So she has to tone it down a little bit. You are going to get what you want based on what you put out there. And I first came into contact with this when I was probably 17 or 18 years old. I just started college. I started college fairly young, and I was thinking to myself, I wanted to make a peace sign in my room. And I needed an X-Acto knife to do that. You know, a little knife that you can carve with, because I wanted to take colored paper and I wanted to carve it and make a peace sign. That's what I wanted to do. And I started thinking about it. I was thinking about it all day. I need an X-Acto knife, need to do this. Next thing you know, on the steps up to my apartment at the time, because I was a college kid, there was an X-Acto knife. Not only that, but there were extra blades. What are the odds, you ask yourself? Well, when you start using the law of attraction, you're going to find yourself asking yourself that a lot. What are the odds? What are the odds that I would have gotten exactly this, exactly what I asked for? You're going to get it. So your beliefs shape who you are and what you can accomplish. Whether you're believing in getting an X-Acto knife, or whether you're believing in getting more clients, or whether you're believing in your client's ability to do something, your beliefs shape who you are and what you can accomplish. So I want you to get accustomed to teaching this to your client. When you're working with someone, how about giving them some hope, teaching them to dream, teaching them to believe, teaching them to have faith? All of these concepts have to do with the law of attraction. They all have to do with getting what you want. And you're going to hear a lot of negative talk from your clients, at least initially. You're going to hear a lot of things that are negative. I remember when I had my office in Beverly Hills and I wanted to move to the next level, I hired a life coach. I realized that I was becoming a life coach, but I also hired a life coach. And one of the things he said to me initially was that certain things are no longer acceptable. And one of those things was for me to doubt myself. That wasn't acceptable anymore. That wasn't going to work anymore. So can't and won't and all of that just wasn't acceptable. So you need to catch your client when they start talking like this, because they will. You'll say, well, have you ever thought about doing this? And they'll say, oh, no, I can't do that. That's what bigger companies do. That's what people who are more powerful than me do. They may not say it like that, but that's what they mean. They mean that they think those things are out of their reach because they're not worthy of them. And so when they start down the path of creating something, they often sabotage it because they don't feel it's going to work out, so they find a way to mess it up. You're going to have to kind of get into their heads, if you will. You're going to have to get them to talk differently about their possibilities. So when you hear them saying, I can't do it, it won't work, remind them that their beliefs shape who they are and what they can accomplish. It's true for you, it's true for them, it's true for me, it's true for everyone. Beliefs shape who you are and what you can accomplish. You realize that if you don't believe that you can do something, you block that. You block that. I believe it was Henry Ford, the man who started Ford Motor Company, who said that whether you believe that you can do something or believe that you can't do something, you're right. So, either way, you create your reality. So teach them that beliefs shape who they are and what they can accomplish. Then they're going to find out the power of their thoughts and the power of the law of attraction. So, this all starts with recognizing limiting beliefs, and you're going to hear that very clearly from them when they say, I can't do this, or this won't work, or I don't believe that I'm able to do that, or I'm capable of doing that, or it never worked before. Why would it work now? You're going to need to recognize these things as they come out of the mouths of your clients, but they're going to be very easy to recognize. Now realize that sometimes clients can be very convincing. They've convinced themselves that this won't work, so they can convince you. The first day you may have a heart-to-heart, down-to-earth talk with them, and they may explain to you how they figured out that things just won't work out. Now look, we've tried this, so we don't want you trying that. We tried the other things, so we don't want you trying that. None of that works. They've actually convinced themselves that those things don't work, and now they're convincing you. They're kind of poisoning your thoughts now. I want to caution you to let that just run right past you like water off a duck's back. Just let it go. If they try to feed you their limiting beliefs about what will work and what won't work, refuse to accept it. You can nod your head if you want, but refuse to accept it, because you are going to just get pulled down in the muck that they've been pulled down into. Realize that your clients called you for a reason, because they so far have been incapable of doing whatever it is that they want you to help them do. Part of the reason is their limiting beliefs. They're not believing in the law of attraction. If they were, 100%, they'd have everything they want. Everything would be flowing smoothly. They'd be drawing the people and events to them that make it happen. Hopefully, part of them believing in themselves is drawing you to them. They believe in you. They've manifested you, so to speak. They brought you into their lives, and you've manifested them. You brought them into your life, so it's time to move forward. So that's at least a first step. But when they start feeding you their negativity, do not accept that package. Don't sign for that package when it shows up at the door. Refuse to accept it. Again, when you're talking to a client, you can nod politely, affirmatively, but inside I want you to realize that this is something you're going to have to work on with your clients. You're going to have to get them to see that just because it didn't work out, or just because they don't think it'll work out, or just because it hasn't worked out in the past or didn't work out for another company or another person, doesn't mean anything, because the future is wide open. So getting them to embrace the possibilities, to see how the law of attraction can work in their favor if they just start thinking positively, these are of tremendous benefit to your client. So you need to make them aware of the immense power that they have. And sometimes they've given up a lot of power and they don't even realize it. So you're going to have to put them in a position where they are aware of that. Change negative beliefs into positive beliefs. This sounds very simple, doesn't it? Sounds very straightforward. And with you, maybe you can do it right away. Maybe you can just start changing your negative beliefs into positive beliefs right away. Maybe it won't require much effort at all, and from now on you can do that. But when you work with clients, realize this can be a bit of a challenge, changing their negative beliefs into positive beliefs, because they have limiting negative beliefs. They have beliefs that are ingrained sometimes in the company itself, and they have learned these things by experience. They know these things, and they consider these things to be part of their wisdom now. We've tried this, it's not going to work. changing negative beliefs into positive beliefs can be a tremendous challenge. And many times clients will need to take baby steps. They tried this before, it didn't work. Okay, well, it's time to try something different that might work. Okay, so when we try this different thing, it's not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed. However, we're going to try it. Okay, look, it did work. So, by the way, I use the word try and might. Many times you want to avoid these words when you're talking to your clients. Instead of saying, let's try this, I suggest you say, let's do this. Instead of saying this might work, even though that is reality, they are really trying it, and actually it might work. But phrase it positively. Instead of saying, you're going to try this, just say you're going to do this. Instead of saying it might work, just don't even address that, because it's implied anyway that it might work. But they should always be thinking of the positive outcome. This is going to help them change those negative beliefs into positive beliefs. And as they do this, they're going to have new distinctions, new ways of dealing with the universe, new ways of dealing with the world around them. And as they develop these ways and these possibilities, their ideas about their life are changing, but they are going to change also. They're going to shift. And that's really what you're going for, a shift in your client. Getting them to embrace the law of attraction and to incorporate that into their beliefs can be of tremendous advantage because it allows the client to shift from a negative driver's seat to a positive one. You see, when you're in a negative driver's seat, you're only going to negative places. Those are the places you know. They're the safe places. They're the places that do work. But they're not the places you really want to be. They're not the exciting places. They're not the fun places. They're not the new places. They're not the places that the winners are going to. So get them in the positive driver's seat. Get them going to places that are really going to be the places they want to go. And the way to do that is to change their negative beliefs or negative limiting beliefs into positive beliefs. And I want you to focus on what your needs are. Focus on what your needs are. Now, this is true for you and your client. So you're going to focus on what your needs are. Your needs are to get more clients and to keep them happy and so forth and so on. But I want you to teach this to your clients also, to focus on what their needs are. Focus on what their needs are. Many times, clients get off track because they're not focusing on their needs anymore. They're not focusing on what that company really needs. And what it needs sometimes is a swift kick in the pants to get moving forward. And this can be done in a very nice way, of course, but sometimes that's what the needs of the company are. Now, this works in with beliefs and the law of attraction because if you focus on what you need, that's what you're going to draw to you. So always focus on what you need. You can also focus on what you want, but the essence of life is to focus on what you need, because what you need is essential. It's not optional, it's essential. What a company needs is essential. If they need more money, that's essential. They need to focus on that. Maybe they haven't been focusing on what they really need, so they haven't been drawing it to them. If they're not focusing on it, how could they draw it to them? So get them focused. Getting focused is everything. If you're on an airplane and you're flying somewhere and the pilot doesn't really know where they're going, they're just kind of, tooling around in the sky and no one's really sure where they're going, well, how does that benefit anyone? What these people need, people in the plane, if it's a commercial airliner, they need to go somewhere. They need to go where they're supposed to go, where they signed up and paid their money to go. Same with your clients. They want to go somewhere. But they don't always realize that it takes focus. An airline pilot and those people who help him or her get to where they're going are very aware constantly of where they need to go. They're very aware of the needs of the people on the plane. Those people need to go somewhere. Companies aren't always like this. Companies sometimes lose track of that. They lose track of what needs to happen, what the company needs. Individuals can be like that. They can lose track of what they need. So your job is to get them focused. And once they're focused, then the law of attraction really kicks in because the universe says, okay, that's what you need. That's what you're focused on. Here you go. You're focused on it. You can have it. One of the steps of the law of attraction that people overlook is to allow it into your life. When you are focused on getting more clients and helping them, and clients start calling, you need to allow that into your life. It's not good enough that you wanted it, and it's also not good enough that you wanted it and the universe brought it to you. You have to accept it to complete the cycle. Otherwise, it's the same as you never having even thought about what you want. You have to accept it. Sometimes people and companies, and maybe you, and sometimes me, sometimes we don't allow those good things into our lives when they show up. You think about that ideal person you want to have in your life, and there they are. And you think, wait a minute, I'm not worthy of that. I'm not going to allow that into my life. I know it's not going to work out. Or a person in business gets what they want. They get the company acquisition that they want. They're trying to take over a company so that they can be a more powerful company. And it works out. And they say, wait a minute, something must be wrong here. There's no way this is happening. There's no way this is going to work out. I can't allow this. There must be something wrong here. I don't know what it is, but this kind of thing just doesn't happen to me, or this kind of thing just doesn't happen to our company. I can't allow this. Sure enough, what happens? They sabotage it. So allowing it into your life is a big part of the law of attraction. If you attract something to your life, you must allow it in order to complete the cycle. When the cycle is complete, the universe says, hey, they really do like that. They like chocolate, or they like race cars, or they like houses, or they like money, or whatever it is they like. They like love. They like relationships. They like abundance. Let's give them more of that. They like that. Also, once you accept it, you live into it, and you're ready for the next level. You're ready for the next thing. So you accept moving from first grade to second grade. You get to move on to the next grade. Eventually, you get to graduate from high school. You accept your bachelor's degree. You get your master's degree. Then you can have your doctorate. You accept things into your life, and you get to move on. You get to move forward. So allow things into your life and teach your clients this also. Teach them that whatever they're looking for, whatever they're striving for, they can have. They can absolutely have it, but they must allow it into their lives. They must allow it to happen in order for anything to take place. Otherwise, the chain gets cut off. If that link isn't complete, the chain gets cut off, and it may not come back around again for quite some time because the universe says, well, they didn't really want it. They weren't really ready for it. We'll just give them time. Let them get ready for it. They're not ready for it yet. So realize that you must allow whatever it is you're looking for into your life, and your clients must be trained to do this as well. So I want you to give your clients homework, and one of the things I want you to have them do is make a list of 10 things that they have accomplished and that can pertain to a specific area of their lives they're working on or life in general. But make this list. I want you to have your clients make this list because this is going to be very powerful. You should do this too. You should make this list also. But for your clients, those who are up for homework, some of them, as I've said, are going to just take charge. You're going to get in there. You're going to be told what to do. You're going to have very little ability to do your own thing, and that's fine because you're still getting paid and you're still fulfilling your purpose there. So until you get to the point where you're cherry picking, where you're choosing which clients to work with and which ones you don't want to work with, you need to accept certain things. And one of those things is that sometimes clients are going to tell you what to do, like it or not. That's the way it is. However, if you have a client who's up for doing some homework, have them make a list early on, right when you start working with them, of 10 things that they have accomplished. And they can pertain to specific areas of their lives or things they're working on in their lives in general. But 10 things, 10 accomplishments. And what you're going to find happens with this list is that they start to feel good about themselves. Because really when they hire you, you're the last thing they do before leeches. They've tried everything in most cases. And you're their last resort many times. They really would rather not spend the money usually. But they've hired you because it's not working out. Or maybe they're just saying, well, I'll just try this and see what happens. That can happen also. Or they haven't tried anything else. They just heard life coaching is cool and fun to work with a life coach. And so-and-so has a life coach and so-and-so is cool. I'm going to be cool too. I'm going to hire a life coach. That happens. That will happen just so people can brag about having you working for them. That does happen. But many times they're at the end of their rope and they don't believe in themselves. They don't even remember their accomplishments. They don't give themselves credit for their accomplishments. So making them make a list of 10 things they've accomplished, or things they're working on, or things in their life in general they're happy about, then they're going to get some distinctions. They're going to start to realize and remember just how powerful they are. The next step is, for each item, they should make a list of skills that they used to reach the goal. They used skills to reach the goal. It didn't just happen. They didn't just graduate from college. They didn't just start a business. They didn't just marry the person of their dreams. Even in marriage, they had to have some sort of dating skills, or at least they needed to know how to hold a conversation or convince the person that they're worthy of being married to. So something happened. So for each of these 10 items, they should make a list of skills that they used to reach the goal. This is going to do two things. First of all, the list is going to show you what they value, what they consider important. Second of all, it's going to show you the skills that they have. Third of all, it's going to, again, remind them of how powerful they are. Because when they're making this list of skills, they start to realize, wow, I really am an impressive person. Look what I did. Look what I did here. I used this skill here and that skill there. What you're also looking for as you analyze this list would be things that are repeating. Sometimes for each item, you'll have a skill that is consistent across all items. So, for example, maybe the skill that they have is the ability to persuade people. And you're seeing that in everything. In their marriage, they have the ability to persuade their husband or wife. In their business, they have the ability to persuade employees and vendors and so forth. In their personal lives, they have the ability to persuade their neighbors, to get them to form a homeowners association, to get things moving forward, to get the neighborhood looking good. Whatever it is that they say that you see that's consistent, you need to go with that. That's going to be a skill that they are going to be able to bring to the table for other things that you're going to have them work on, because you need to get them moving forward in their lives. And as they move forward in their lives, they are going to need to use skills. And it's very good if you can see the skills they have. It's sort of like weaponry. What weapons do they have? We're going to war. What do we have? We have a tank and an airplane? Great. Oh, we just have one gun? Maybe not so great, but at least I know now. That's what we have. So you're going to find out what your client has. You're also going to see what they don't have, or at least what they think they don't have. Areas for improvement. This is always great because you can always help them. You can suggest seminars and so forth, and you can help them improve the areas that need improvement. But the main concept here is getting them feeling good, reminding them of what they've done, reminding them of all these skills that they have. Secondary benefit, of course, is you learning more about them and learning what kind of arsenal you have for helping them develop even further in the future.